Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. And we're live! Hello everybody and welcome to Adventurers League Storm King's Thunder. I'm John, the game master for the day, and joining me this morning is William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Fire and Altarian, Human Paladin of Ilmater.
And Jeff.
Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm playing Farble Chance, the half-elven rogue.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy, and fuck, who am I playing today?
Kinvalar, Elfin Wizard Blade Master.
Kinvalar, Racine, the Elven Blade Singer Wizard.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm playing Miracle, the Tiefling Ranger, who's here to help, sort of, guys.
Really quick before I go into the recap, Aaron, you have the oath bow because you took it, I believe. So.
Yes, I have the oath bow.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, we do a lot of games.
Yeah. When last we left our adventurers, they had returned to the Eye of the Allfather with several of the giant artifacts in tow, and returned them to the Oracle for paths going forward to sort of find out where they can find some of the conscious of teleportation that they need to get to King Hecaton's court. They had like 6 pieces, but only 3 paths were revealed because some pieces are some paths have multiple pieces. The three bits of information they received were how to find Chief Gu, the leader of the Hill Giants, who has one of the conches, how to find Jarl Storvald, the king of the Frost Giants, and where his conch is, and Countess Sansuri, the queen of the Cloud Giants, and where to find hers. Chief Gu is south at Grudhog, on the southern end of the realm. Jarl Storvald is west over at the Sea of the Sea of Moving Ice, and Countess Sansuri is southeast near the Evermoors. So, with this information and knowing that the longer it takes for you to get to King Hecaton's court and solve this issue, the closer the Fire Giants get to constructing Venedod, the Cloud Giants get to just raining boulders over everything, and the Hill Giants get to being Hill Giants. You have your information and are standing in the Eye of the Allfather by the Oracle, whose lanterns are all lit again still.
All right, where we want to go? Sorry, let me try that in Kinvalar tone. So, where would we like to head? Where would we like to take this?
What seems like the friendliest option, GM?
Give me
most likely to be someone we can talk to and negotiate with.
Give me a nature roll.
I mean, we pretty much got yeah.
Is
I
this
think the
related
Cloud
to,
Giants would be the...
my favorite enemy of giants?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
think
So
the
I
Cloud
recently
Giants
was
would be the
rereading
most
the Ranger, and I
applicable
discovered I don't get advantage, I get double proficiency.
There you go.
So add an extra 4 to this for double proficiency bonus.
28. All right. So of the 3, and we're doing and yeah, of the three, just going down the list, the hill giants are probably the easiest to trick, because they're stupid. Like as much as that might seem a little bit like the various racisms of the giants themselves calling the hill giants stupid, they are. The frost giants are warriors. They don't talk to their enemies, they kill them. The cloud giants are the ones that are more social and political. If and there's no guarantee because all of the giants have gone batshit crazy searching for power. If there was one of these three that would talk to you, it would be Countess Sansuri. That being said, Countess Sansuri is also likely the most powerful of the three.
Are the hill giants significant? Again, not great with this setting map travel times. Are the hill giants significantly further away than the others?
They are. But if you use a teleportation, they're all kind of far away, but the hill giants...
In terms of how quickly we could get to them, were the hill giants significantly more of a detour?
No, the frost giants would be the furthest away.
Okay.
Because there's no teleportation circle near them.
See, here's the thing. Miracle doesn't actually like formalized political structures, so we could go to the hill giants. We can probably just, talk with them, ask really nicely.
Do we even know specifically where we're going for the storm giants?
So the information you were given was in relation to the storm giants. Travel southeast to the untamed moors and look to the sky for Lin Armal, the castle of the cloud giant countess. The conch you seek is in a secret chest. Search the highest spire.
So that assumes that we can figure out how to get to Sansuri's castle in the sky that's just somewhere over the Evermore. So I think our safest and most viable option would be to take a teleportation back home to Waterdeep and then head to Grudhaug.
Waterdeep or Yarder is actually close.
Yarder has to go through the Desert Hills to get there.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, yeah, Waterdeep would be the... Although, the information you got for Grudhaug is travel south over Tree Hill and Vale, let the Great River be your guide. There, on one of its eastern arms, you'll find Grudhaug, the den of the Hill Giant Chief. The conch you seek is close to her. So you could go to Waterdeep and follow the Desert River north. Yeah. And then just look on the east side.
Just go to Waterdeep and take a boat up the river.
Let's just slightly be contrary to the prophecy.
Well, from a physical confrontation standpoint, the hill giants would be easiest, but I think the storm giants or the cloud giants would be most likely to talk before trying to step on us, but being able to talk to them might make them even more dangerous.
I mean, we should talk first. I actually think it might be better to talk to if no one thinks you're worth talking to, sometimes you're just really fed up with it, and when someone actually tries, you're like, yeah, okay, I'll talk with you.
Kinvalar has a stroke.
I mean, the
Kinvalar take 5 points of psychic damage.
I get what Miracle is saying.
I don't know.
I get.
I very much understand what Miracle is saying.
I would like to point out that my jump stat is strength. I'm kidding.
Grudhaug, then?
Yes, I think no matter the reasoning, our final answer is Grudhaug.
Grudhaug is the easy mode path, yes. All right.
I don't know about that one. Have you seen Chief Goo's model? She's going to crush us.
I mean, you've already been sat on by a hill giant before. Twice.
Okay, that was a hill giant. Again, we've seen this statue before. All right, so then Waterdeep it is then, I suppose.
Oh, I guess that's the plan of action.
Let me jump through some things
knowing
while I find the...
Unless someone
amount
has...
to do about like giant specific religious stuff. Maybe I can make this roll as well, but I will bring up the question: is it bad to not do it the way the prophecy says to do it?
It's not really prophecy as much as directions
Is it
from a
bad
ghost.
to counteract the direction?
No.
Like, if
the
we don't follow
oracle
the river south, will we not find the thing?
the oracle is giving you directions from the oracle, like from where the oracle is. If you have another way to get to it, if you know the land well enough to get to it, that's fine. It was just giving you directions of, if you leave here, take a right, then take a left, then go down the stream. You know, like,
So
just in weird oracle speech.
If it's a true prophecy, something will
we
happen to
have
make
to
us go along.
really trust that we know better than Google Maps. Miracle is comfortable with this.
I am reasonably certain. I don't care where we're going. I'm reasonably certain we know the way better than Google Maps.
I disagree.
I wonder if Google Maps has a favorite setting.
Here's the thing. Anyone who just follows the damn Google Map will find my apartment first try. Anyone who feels they know better will end up on the other side of the apartment complex.
But they'll get to the apartment complex either way.
Waze, whichever app is your favored one.
So you're saying we're not going to arrive at their front door?
You're giving Farbolt ideas. All right. Well, I haven't been to Waterdeep in a little while. It will be nice to be in a city again.
Eh,
Eh.
I'm going home again.
I understand that reaction. Luckily, we have.
We've
Luckily,
all agreed on.
there are no giants who live on Evermeet, so I'm okay.
Oh, it's not the giants that I'm worried about.
No, I'm saying there's no reason for us to go to Evermeet.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. So, with a path made up, with I don't think. Yeah, no, he's not going with you. With the path made up, and with your frost giant friend of Harshnag remaining to stay guard at the oracle, the group of you set off, heading to Mirabar, so you can teleport to Waterdeep. The path through the Valley of Kedron is fairly quiet and quick, having already sort of encountered and bypassed a lot of the issues that they're having, i.e. random encounter rolls. You've already rolled your random encounters.
Have we run into Old Snarl yet?
No, you've not run into Old Snarl yet.
God, no, please. I'm not ready to take on a challenge.
He might be
7
dead. I don't know if
dragon.
I don't know if he got encountered during the Horde of the Dragon Queen or not.
In 5e, he's still kicking.
Is he? Okay.
I know that in the general, because he's
meta plot
mentioned in
sense.
Sword Coast.
All right. Yeah, I just don't know if he's ever encountered in like Horde of the Dragon Queen or the Tiamat's the other one that's attached to that. Anyways.
I believe he is a possible random encounter in like the High Forest.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he is in a here's where the party dies situation.
Yeah. Anyways, you guys make your way back to Mirabar, where you Flint and Milva sort of stop off with when you guys get teleported. Flint and Milva get teleported elsewhere so that they might serve the Harpers in another capacity with the teleporter muttering under his breath that only the four of you hear, but Flint and Milva don't hear, that he's teleporting Flint directly into a bath. But you eventually get through and teleport to Waterdeep. The City of Splendors is a bustling walled city on the Sword Coast. It's often been dubbed the best supply center in the world, with the largest collection of superb craft workers, expert, useful contacts, and potential hirelings to be found anywhere. Some caution that the city houses a veritable army of potential enemies for those who aren't careful, and everyone agrees that its wide, crowded streets are full of spies. Waterdavian noble families and guilds hold tremendous political and economic sway up and down the Sword Coast, but within the city itself, true power lies with the masked lords of Waterdeep, rulers who convene in secret and whose identities are largely unknown. Fortunately for you, most of this doesn't matter. Because as you get out, as you leave the building that the Harper's teleportation circle is in currently, which is sort of it appears to be a Harper's Guild Hall, which ostensibly in Waterdeep is the back end of a bookshop that has like a basement, that has a secret basement going down to it. So you eventually exit out into the streets through this bookshop.
I've been in this bookstore before. I didn't know they were back here.
The bookseller, who as you walk through, bookseller nods, says, "That's right." Goes back down to reading a book as you all leave. As you exit and turn to look to the northern gate, you see a castle emerging from the clouds, looming over the city.
Oh dear.
Shite. It doesn't have a wizard hat.
It does not have a wizard hat.
Familiar castle.
No, it is not a familiar castle. Not one that any of you have seen.
Can I make some sort of history to identify the architecture?
Sure.
Any flags, that type of thing? Good.
No.
The Countess have come to find us? Or
Oh,
not necessarily.
Insert Elven word for fuck here.
No.
22.
No, Miracle, you do not recognize this castle. It's a cloud giant castle, definitely, but it's not a castle you recognize.
So I can't be like, the columns mean that it's made pretty recently.
No, it's... Cloud giant architecture is magical in nature, made from the stuff of clouds, so it's hard to age it properly. The people in as the shadow of the castle falls over Waterdeep, there's a widespread panic as the various sellswords, nobles, and spies in the streets go, "Oh fuck, we might be politically inclined, but we're not quite good enough to deflect boulders."
You're Waterdeep, guys. I mean, you're not Neverwinter, but still.
They sort of...
No, this is like Brainiac showing up in Metropolis. People are like, again?
The adventurers might be, but...
Yeah, I know.
It's not the civilians.
Like Marvel New York.
Not better. Yeah.
As panic begins to spread in the streets, Firen, make me a intelligence check. Just a general intelligence check.
Oh dear. I'm out with my intelligence of 10. So I'm rolling a d20.
It's okay, because you're a noble and a native. You notice that the heralds of Lady Lyriel Silverhand, one of the de facto rulers of Waterdeep, have been are sort of running around the streets, calling out to people, calming them down, and assuring them that no harm will befall the city. And just sort of calming people down.
Is the Giant's castle floating directly above their keep?
No. It is currently hovering or directly above, if we look to the city of Waterdeep. I wonder if is there a handout for Waterdeep? There should be. You'd think there would be.
Like a map of Waterdeep?
Yeah, there isn't though.
Google.
Of all the things,
There-
well, yeah, no, Google certainly, but of all the things in this adventuring module to not have, a map of Waterdeep is weird.
Maybe map of
But no.
Waterdeep 5e into Google
The-
and find what you're
I mean
looking.
that doesn't help me with
I know.
this. Anyways, the castle is currently hovering over the north gate, the gate that leads up the North Furrow out of Waterdeep. So in your path, but it doesn't seem to be doing anything.
Where's the map of Waterdeep we used for the one shot that has Slut Street on it?
It's actual street in Waterdeep.
It is an actual street in Waterdeep. But yeah, it's currently hovering over the northern gate, effectively. It doesn't seem to be doing anything though. It's just hovering there. No boulders are dropping. Nobody's coming down or anything like that.
Maybe they're here to talk to someone or just to resupply. Cool.
It's hanging about
Well, we're
1,000
going,
feet in
right?
the air.
Well, we have to pass by it to get out of here. So.
Well, it's not like it's in the way. It's floating.
It's floating.
I
Yeah.
mean, at the very least, we could go up to Lady Silverhand's people and give them the heads up on what's going on with the giants, so perhaps
Or
the
get-
city can be a bit
or-
prepared.
Or get the heads up from them, because they might know better.
Or get the heads up from them. Although this seems to be a relatively new phenomenon, because at some point these screaming people run out of energy and stop screaming. So
Also, Firen, you would know, Lady Silverhand is the current open lord of Waterdeep.
Out of the 6 Shadow Lords.
Out of the masked lords, she's the current open lord.
Yep.
Which also means that just
Bro.
getting an audience isn't all that easy.
No. That's what I was saying is go talk
One
to
of the
one
random
of the
people on the street who's talking to people were like, "Hey, here's what we know about this if it matters." I don't know.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Like, Miracle's gonna groan. He's gonna put his hood over his horns.
Well, I suppose the
I
best
don't
thing we can do right now.
Are we going to
Why
investigate or are we
Some
going to
giant
leave?
showing up to seemingly non-violently direct. Fine.
I mean, I think the best thing we can do right now is just to start walking
Okay.
and hopefully avoid running into any of my family.
Right. So don't advertise at your home.
Don't intend to.
Well, you know the way where we're going.
Yeah, follow me, and I'll try and take streets that avoid getting near any of my family's holdings.
Give me a stealth check.
Can I roll with my intelligence instead of... No, I actually, can I roll with my intelligence instead of my dex? Because then a
Sure.
little better. Because then it's just a d20 roll as opposed to a d20 minus 1. It's still a natural 1.
Oh my God, William.
As it turns out, they've taken some new holdings on a street that I didn't realize.
Or you make the first turn just instinctively and, oh, wait, you're heading towards your family's house.
That is some me level
Yeah.
shit.
If you're wondering why they don't like me, John, it's because my fiance is a half-orc.
No, I know why they don't like you. I'm trying to see if you have any names.
No, I don't.
Okay. I get to make up names. You go down Slut Street, assuming that none of your family's going to be on Slut Street. Why would they? That the name of the street is enough. And as you're walking down, you sort of see a familiar figure stepping out of one of the various houses of ill repute. It's your Uncle Bertold,
God damn it.
Who just sort of steps out, looking, straightening himself out, trying to look like he didn't just step out of the building he just stepped out of. You're not
avoid eye contact.
you're not certain why he would care, because he's not married or anything. He's just an old, like, rich dude.
I mean, you gotta look like you're a noble. Nobles don't visit brothels.
Exactly. Just this large double chin, ill-fitting suit. Not ill-fitting because it was tailored poorly, but because it was tailored about 100 pounds ago. Looking around, adjusting himself. Everyone else can make a stealth check too if you're trying to be subtle, or if you're just walking, don't worry about it.
I'm just walking. I'm not
I
worried.
mean, do we have any reason to suspect?
No.
So, Miracle is. He's not being stealthy, like he doesn't want people to notice him or anything, but he is trying to have his hood up pretty far, so
Yeah,
like
to hide the
the
horns.
first thought is not you're a tiefling.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
why I asked. It's like if you were trying to be more subtle than just hood or anything else.
Yeah.
All right.
People are just walking down the street. You'll actually look at Miracle. It's all right. This city, in my experience, this city is very cosmopolitan. I'm sure they will have no problem with,
So
It's not the city, it's the politicians.
as you are having this conversation,
Oh,
Fyron, the
fine.
biggest problem with you is that your armor is really shiny.
I also have bright orange hair.
I mean, you have bright orange hair, your armor is really shiny, and you are sort of the, like, if you open a book and flip to the page on paladins, they have a picture of you there. Like, it's just sort of like, you're picturesque in many fashions, and so,
I'm not a half-orc, that's my fiance.
as you're walking through, you're just sort of like, looking, like, I see him, I'm looking, facing down, walking away, just trying to walk past, and you get about 4 steps before you're Fyron.
Hello, Bertold.
What are you doing back in Waterdeep? I thought the family had chased you out.
No, they hadn't chased me out. I left because they couldn't deal with the fact that my fiance has money of her own.
Well, you should likely still stop in and see your mother and father before you head on to whatever ridiculous tasks you're heading off to.
Stopping that from killing us all, I say, pointing at the giant castle in the sky.
He looks up and you get a sense that this is the first time he's seen it.
Hello. Puts hand out.
And he's sort of staring.
I
up
don't
at the
see any
castle.
direct evidence that this particular cloud giant is killing anyone.
And sort of at that statement, sort of stiffens up. If excuse me, and he walks right back into the building he just came out of.
If you think the world is ending, get fucked.
Literally.
I mean,
Oh, I've never
probably
seen
smart
bird.
doing it before they raised their rates to whatever the incoming apocalypse rate is in Waterdeep.
Basically.
I've never seen Bertolt shut up that fast.
Yeah, you have it.
So,
Seriously,
We're
this
gonna
is
meet
probably
any
why
more
you guys don't
families
have
here?
better relations with giants.
we're gonna meet any more of your family while we're in town, Fyron.
I severely hope not.
So, you continue on your way.
Like, you haven't met my family, but I really don't need another lecture about how green skin is not becoming.
Kevlar wise.
At that, there's
shut
the-
about that.
Miracle just looks up towards Kinvalar with kind of a "told you so."
That. And he stops himself right there.
All right.
Looks over at Fire is like, I understand family issues.
So,
Byron just gives you a look. don't think you quite understand these ones. My fiance is sort of the trifecta of things that nobles from Waterdeep don't like. Not human, made her own money as opposed to being born into it, and from Neverwinter.
I mean, it's about expectations regardless. Mine were not of that variety, but I still had... There were... Anyways, look, Cloud Giant.
Look, obvious distraction.
Obvious distraction. Great way to divert attention from the fact that my mouth keeps wanting to talk about, well, it's orcs, so I understand it.
So you continue on.
Yes.
Are you bypassing the Cloud Giant Castle entirely? Or just what?
Miracle is, unless there is evidence that boulders are starting to come off.
Nope, no boulders.
Miracle's advocating for heading for whichever exit/road is the right one.
The one right underneath the castle.
Yeah, that one works as long as it's not directly past any more of my family.
So what are the chances that this is the castle of the Countess?
Very low, because
If we really want to find out, my family does have information, but I really don't want to see them.
Well, you were told that the Countess's castle was by the Evermores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we know, yeah.
To be fair, they move.
Yeah, like,
Wait,
they
are
don't
the
exactly stay
Evermores
still.
like the mountain
They're
that Waterdeep is on, or is that
No,
a
the Evermores are way the fuck north
yeah.
Very different.
from Waterdeep.
Yes, they move, but they don't teleport.
Yeah, the Evermores are about 500 miles away.
And besides, if she's gotten the impetus to come looking for stuff, we probably are better off talking to someone else.
I mean, if we're truly curious about whose castle that is, my family might have someone who knows.
Unless it
Please just
pertains specifically to what we're doing, I don't think it matters that much.
I mean, what we're doing is dealing with giants, so
what we're doing is finding a teleporting conch so that we can
Yeah.
give the old chief of the Cloud Giants a kick in the ass and get a new chief of the Cloud
Stone
Giants.
Well,
giants.
let's see if we can get past these guys
Miracle's
and
got
look
that
about
right.
getting a
It's
boat.
early.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. I feel like
Somebody's
one of
watching
two
you.
things.
I feel like the DM just handed me a plot hook relating to my family.
I feel like they're one of two situations here. Either they are likely to end up hostile, or well, obviously these are the two options, or they aren't. But if they aren't, they may have more information for us.
Like, what kind of information would we be? I mean, specifically, I mean,
The giants.
the giants.
know
We're
other
not going to go
giants.
talk to them. So, what do you guys know about the fire giants?
That was the reaction I was looking for.
Not exactly going to go. Oh, well, let me tell
Miracle
you.
will.
But no, that's honest. It's an honest, like, irony-free statement from him.
Dear,
Actually,
I know you seem to be putting your foot in your mouth today. But despite the more political inclinations of Storm and Cloud Giants, not all giants know each other.
I mean, but
Think about it.
But
No.
no, wait. Hear me out on this, because I promise this makes sense. If there is this great giant thing happening throughout the giant community, and in the middle of this great giant thing, a cloud giant or a cloud giant castle suddenly appears above the most populated city on the continent. Those don't seem to be unrelated situations, so they may have insight into this. And they may know people we can talk. They may know people because they're giants.
You had to finish it with that.
Miracle.
Can Larson ever meet Elf? What do you expect?
You know, there's a little thaumaturgy cloud over Miracle's head. Just a little tiefling thaumaturgy thing, just like floating right there. I love talking to people, but just because someone is part of the same community and is probably facing the same issues that we're trying to deal with doesn't mean we immediately get to go up to that person and ask them random questions about why are you in a city?
Well, to be fair, it is my city, so I have a little bit of a reason to be concerned about that.
See?
Why are you concerned
on my
someone
side.
needs to be peacefully in your city?
Because cloud giants typically don't have a lot of business in Waterdeep. The fact that this one seems to have taken an interest is a tad concerning, especially considering we are now quite well aware that at the very least the leader of the cloud giants is not a nice person, to quote Zephyros.
Or, to be fair, a leader, not necessarily the leader. See, I'm on your side.
Not a fan. Politics.
Neither am I. That's part of why I'm not sure
is why I left academia. Fine.
I'm not a massive fan of politics either. It's part of why I'm a paladin and not, staying with my family's noble house. But as much as it is a stereotype, I know at the very least my noble house knows at least a good amount of dirt on every other noble house in Waterdeep.
Fine.
And with cloud giants seeming to be the nobles of giant society, it's likely they might have at least a little bit of information.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily saying go up to them and say, what are you doing here? I'm saying go up to them and assuming, we don't get attacked, which is a fair assumption potentially to make. Then say, hey, we happen to know about this thing that's going on.
But I actually agree with Byron about how we should deal with this issue. And Miracle's just gonna grab like a scarf or something out of his bag and, without actually changing or anything, just aestheticize himself as a rogue.
Okay. Give me a disguise kit roll.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Efficiency, so that's
I do, but it's going. It's like going up to
Bolt agrees with me.
Nefarious plans.
If you don't have proficiency in disguise kit, it'll just be a charisma check.
12.
All right, you sort of bundle yourself up to make yourself look slightly more rogue-ish.
I mean, it's not that much of it. Going from wilderness ranger to rogue that was in the wilderness is not too many steps.
No, it's not too many steps.
Kinvalar, I'm going to, at some point I'm going to hand you a shovel, and when I do, I'd like you to dig up.
I don't catch your meaning.
It's
But
well,
regardless, so what are we doing? Because I'm confused at this point.
If we need information out of this cloud giant, my family might know someone who knows what's going on with it, or who we can talk to figure out how to get an audience with the cloud giant if they've contacted anyone in this city.
Well,
that might be
Fyron, you would know, and actually, Kimvalar, you'd probably know this too. Lady Silverhand is her and her partner Kelvin Blackstaff typically reside in Blackstaff Tower, which is one of the mage towers in the city. It's the mage tower in the city, really. So if you wanted to get contact with them, you could theoretically do it through your association with the Harpers, or you could try to get an audience at the tower itself. You don't necessarily have to go through your family, because they would likely know what's going on.
Wait, did they bring Blackstaff back from the dead again?
Yep. His partner is also the chosen of Mystra.
I mean, they killed Mystra, though.
And she's back.
Well, I mean, I'm not disappointed about that fact, because...
Wait, wasn't the chosen of Mystra the crazy wizard dude?
Elminster. There's more than one chosen. Mystra has like
has
17 chosen.
8 chosen.
8 chosen?
That are established within Faerun. Elminster and the Seven Sisters, of which Laeral is one. Although a bunch of those died when the game went from 3rd edition to 4th edition, but that was also when Mystra and Kelvin died. So I don't know. Maybe they brought them all back. 4th edition was a dream. It never.
Yeah, they might have just completely
4th
erased
edition was a fever dream.
I like that I can create a rant that's
Go on,
that
buddy.
long from a simple question, because this system has so much lore. And I also gather that 5th edition is less 4th edition was a fever dream and more like, here's the simple version.
I mean, basically 5th edition, as far as I was aware, they came up with storyline reasons to actively and purposefully, acknowledgedly undo everything they did in 4th edition.
Yeah.
So
anyways.
Rebirth. DC Rebirth. You
There
could
you
have
go.
just said DC Rebirth.
Yeah, new 52.
Basically,
New 52.
yes.
Okay. So, where are you going to your family, or are you going to try to get in contact directly with Silverhand?
No
Both-
one just walks up to the Blackstaff Tower and says, "I'd like to talk to the Blackstaff and the Silverhand."
I mean, people do.
No one gets anywhere like that.
Whether they're successful or not depends on the person.
How much pull does your family name have?
It has an amount, but me, myself, personally, not as much as, say, my father.
Yeah, if you're gauging your family's prestige on like the top 100 noble families of Waterdeep,
We're like
they're like
46.
they're like a little above 50, somewhere around there, like between 50 and 30. There's a lot of noble families in Waterdeep. You're not currently in debt to Mert the Moneylender, which makes you in the top 50.
Yeah.
I mean,
Although that would be a lovely thing to spring on my family, is to come home. Hey mother, hey father, I need to talk to the Blackstaff. Love to see their expressions.
Kinvalar sort of puts his head on. If you really don't want to talk to your family, we might be able to use my family name to get in, considering that my uncle or whatever it was
Cousin.
is the
Cousin
High
5 times
Lord
removed.
of
Silvery Moon.
or something like that. All I have to do is say blah blah blah. We came from Silvery Moon, and drop my name.
So it's not outright lying.
Here's because we're all
It's
going
outright
back.
lying.
Do I have any?
It's fudging the truth.
outright deceptioning.
Do I have any former students that might not hate me that are hanging out here or something?
Potentially, yes, but they wouldn't necessarily be nobility.
Anyone I know in this city
Or at
will
least not
probably
powerful
run
Someone
nobility.
different
who's
circles.
established within the scholarly circles here and might be interested
Yeah,
in
no.
nerd information about the giant tower that just
No,
showed.
they're definitely, you'll definitely have a number of scholars you could, like students and teachers and variety of things on that end that you could talk to, yeah.
Like, the reason we need to talk to the
So are-
politician lady is because, if I understand correctly, we're trying to figure out why this giant is here and maybe get in contact with them.
I mean, essentially.
We could also try and do that through the academics in the city.
I mean, I'm
If-
somewhat
if-
turning
If
around
I
on going.
spread information in academic circles that we're here and we have some other information, particularly even that we went to a giant temple, whatever fairly well, it's likely that interested people would be like, oh, I'm going to go interview that one.
To be fair, I'm actually kind of turning around on going to see my family because I would love to see them dance on coals to try and support the paladin in the family and look noble, trying to help me get into the Blackstaff Tower.
I was gonna say the other option, if we don't want to, since our ultimate goal is to converse with the stone giant.
So are we going to
I
try
can make
figuring out why
3
these
of
cloud
us-
giants are here?
I can make 3 of us fly. If we can get a 4th person airborne somehow.
I mean, you could theoretically make Fyron's horse fly. I'll carry 2 people.
Do I have 4th
Yeah.
level spells yet?
Willing creature, if the horse is willing.
A horse is intelligent enough to be willing.
So we could just bypass the whole politics nonsense
You know,
and just fly to their front door.
I feel like that's a great way to get arrows shot at me.
likely.
But I actually like this plan best.
We'll call that one Plan C because right now I'm actually really excited for seeing my family squirm. If we could,
Fine.
We can check with less reputable people to see if there's ears everywhere. They don't necessarily have to talk to the nobles to figure out everything. So if you want to, I can
feel
go
like,
check to
I
see
feel
if
like
someone
every
else
option
knows.
we involve that doesn't involve the Fyron's family at this point is a
We can
disappointment
do more
to
than one.
Fyron.
While you guys go talk to Fyron's family, I can look at other venues.
if you like.
Yeah. Just
Gets a different perspective than the noble view.
Honestly, if you want to consult your scholars, you're welcome to as well, Miracle. Honestly, I think
No
myself
reason why
and
we only have
Kindlemar can
to do-
handle my family by ourselves.
yeah, I have a few students I could drop in on who at least would probably be interested in that there is currently a castle here.
Okay. So, splitting the party. Great. All right. Farbolt and Miracle give me investigation rolls, while Fyron and Kinvalar go to Fyron's family.
It sounds like, let me take this plot I have planned for you and set it aside.
16.
So what are
13.
the names of my immediate family?
Hang on one second.
Like if you got it typed out, just copy paste it into.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you? Yeah. It's Joffrey and Bertha, or Britha.
I instinctively am going to be slapping one of them. I'm sorry.
Aretha.
Hi, I'm Joffrey. Whack!
I don't know why I did that.
It's not Kimball either. Jeremy just shows up in settings, slaps this person.
Slaps.
Is it Bretha or Bertha? Is the Y in supposed to
Bretha.
be after the R?
Bretha, yeah.
Bretha?
The Y is after the R. Joffrey and Bretha Altorian. There's your mother and father.
Do I have any siblings?
Do you?
17 come up with their names now, John.
No, I probably just have like a younger sister. All things
If it ever comes up, Farbolt has a huge extended family.
Good to know.
I probably actually just have a younger sister.
It could be worse. You could come up with a bunch of different siblings and give them all A names.
Yeah, I'm sure no one here would ever do anything like that.
In the midst of
all.
a campaign where half the party has A names.
No, I'm sure that wouldn't be a thing any of us might do.
I'm a dick.
Yeah,
They're
and
also all one syllable and similar.
yeah, and your sister's name is Erin.
Aaron, that works.
Helpful.
Erin with a Y.
If I say it was an Irish accent, I'm talking to my sister.
So yeah, the two of you head to Castletown, to the castle ward of Waterdeep, which is where sort of a lot of the major noble families live, and then immediately take a right into the ward next door, because the Altorian family estate is next to Castle Ward, not in Castle Ward.
I love it.
That's way too funny to me right now.
I love it so much.
And so you come to this estate. It's a fairly large estate, as noble estates are wont to be, with a sort of a fenced off courtyard area separating it from the road itself. The yard is well maintained. The estate itself is not falling apart. It's in very good repair, and it just sort of has a plaque on the outside that just says Altorian. It's sort of a, upper Maine quality here.
Is it like in the south end of the northward?
Yeah,
All right, like on Trader's Way, basically.
somewhere around there. Actually, it would be like on Joltoon Street, actually. Just like literally on the line.
Yeah, it's
Because in that map, the Castle Ward is the purple buildings.
yeah, it's that right there where Joltoon Street meets Shield Street, that big open courtyard with the gray building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yep. So, that's where you guys are at.
Well, this is a pleasant little home.
This is going to be simultaneously very frustrating and very entertaining. I'm quite looking forward to it.
I will follow your lead.
All right.
I just shoved the door open.
Walk into the courtyard.
Mother, father, sister, I'm home.
I mean, you have to get through the courtyard, then to the front door.
Yeah, through the courtyard.
There are steps to getting into a noble house. It's not just walk through the door. You open the gate.
Still just announce your presence.
Walk up to the door. Try the door. It's locked.
Knock.
After a few moments, there's a sound of the door being unlocked, and opening the door is the tall, slim, ancient elven figure of the family butler, Gilliam. Looks down.
Afternoon, Gillian.
Ah, Master Fyron, welcome.
Good to see you again, at least.
Well, it's good to see you home. He sort of looks over at Kinvalar, and
Hello. Kinvalar Erasme. Associate.
And Kinvalar, yeah, this is sort of this high elf is probably 600 years old.
Okay.
Like he's reached the point where elves start to look old.
Right.
And judging by the fact that he's a noble family's butler, he's probably been a professional butler for like 500 of those 600 years.
Right.
Well, welcome to the Altorian estate. And he opens the door wider and just gestures for you to come in.
All right, man.
Close the door behind you. If you're looking for your father, Lord Joffrey is in the library. If you're looking for your mother, Lady Britha is in the kitchen with the kitchen staff.
Where's Aaron?
Aaron is currently out about in the city.
Well, let's go straight into matters and speak with my father.
All right. He nods and sort of leads you, not assuming that you don't know the way, but because it's proper, leading the two of you through the house to the library.
To be fair, I've probably started to forget just because I've been gone for years.
Yeah, but every step sort of reignites a memory, as stepping into old houses is wont to do. And after a few moments, you step into a library wherein there is it's a fairly decently kitted out library. 2 floors, lots of shelves of books of various things. Mostly, as you recall, mostly mercantile information. Your father's a merchant. But also stories of noble heroes and the Pantheon and etc. The things that drew you more than...
Those are the books that I read.
Yeah, those are the books that you read. Those are on the second floor. You and your mother read those. And your sister. Your father mostly stays on the first floor, which is where he's at. You see this older human male wearing finely tailored clothes. Very fit. Long red hair pulled back into a ponytail, beginning to gray at the temples and in the beard. And sort of turns as the 3 of you entered. Gilliam, who's... Ah. Welcome home, my son, he says, closing the book.
Father.
And what would I owe this pleasure?
Well, you may have noticed there's a giant castle floating in the sky outside.
Perchance.
Well, as it turns out, the paladin in the family is on a quest that pertains to that.
You and your damned quests. And what would you be coming here for?
I need to speak to the Blackstaff and the Silver Hand.
You just sort of hear the tightening of leather as his fingers clench on the book he's holding.
I also came to say hi to my family,
Of course you did. And you're figuring that with my political pull I could get you an audience with the Blackstaff or the Lady Silverhand.
Probably. And of course, you have to look right and noble and support the paladin, the hero, and the family.
Right. And it walks over to a bookshelf and puts the book away.
This is always how I see it's been between us.
Yep. Have you said hello to your mother yet?
I haven't. I was intending to after we had secured our business.
Go speak with your mother. I'll see what I can do.
He gives a nod. He turns and leaves the room.
Hello. And I go.
Kinvalar's
There was not
standing
an
next to us and he just
appropriate
feels
time
the
to
temperature drop.
It was not an appropriate time to say hi.
As you wave your hand, like bits of frost fall off your sleeve. You're not sure how it got there. Meanwhile, Miracle. Yeah, you head over to one of the more public library spaces, figuring that you're muted. I don't know what you said. You're muted.
Once I realize I'm not headed to a noble house, I'm not headed to Fyron's house.
Yeah.
I'll put my scarf back away.
Okay. Yeah, you head over to a
Back
public.
to status.
You head over to a public library where there's currently a reading on various scholarly papers regarding the relationship between merfolk and sailors. And where one of your students is there who actually wrote the paper, which is why you know to go there. Who's having this, and so you walk in the middle of this discussion of, well, I don't think it's inherently a necessity of eating sailors. I think it's mostly that the sailors and their ships disturb the environment and the ecosystem of the merfolk, who then retaliate in kind, defending themselves with the only thing they have at their capability, which is, of course, their enchanting song and appearance, which of course, then results in the eating of sailors. But I don't think it's... I feel that it's not necessarily the sailors are their primary source of nourishment so much as it is a defensive mechanism. And various discussions relating to that. I like that I made Jeremy facepalm with that.
So, not that I don't think the fire thing's gonna be amazing the whole way through, but I really wish Kinvalar had gone with Miracle right now. This explains so much. I'm so sorry.
This is one of Miracle's students.
I made this one.
Yeah.
She sent more of these people out into the world.
He has, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're sort of standing off to the side as you're listening to this discussion.
I'm grading it in the back of my head. Like, okay, that statement could have used a little more nuance. That one's not very well sourced. That was a good argument and made in an area where not many people are exploring the research. But I'm just observing, watching, waiting for them to have some free time or be done.
Yeah, it seems like you've come in on the tail end of the discussion, and it wraps up pretty soon. It seems like mostly the discussion, from what you're gathering, was about whether or not hiring adventurers to deal with merfolk infestations is a moral thing or not. And your student's argument was that they're just defending themselves because sailors are running roughshod over their environment. It's not their fault. You guys are dicks.
Solid A-.
No. Miracle was not the kind of professor who gave out a ton of A's. It's a very solid B, which would be considered an excellent grade in his class.
Yep.
Miracle gives no fucks about your GPA.
So yeah, it sort of wraps up, and your student is sort of collecting their papers and notebooks and things.
Just go on by. I noticed you excluded the insert name. Here's accounts.
Teacher. Yes. Well, in that particular instance, it's because that person's accounts weren't quite verifiable, because they actively sought out and harassed the merfolk they were researching, rather than trying to observe them in a more neutral environment. The instigation of which tainted their evidence.
That is quite reasonable. If I might suggest in the future that you more explicitly bring such concerns into the paper and and forge them with the narrative. Otherwise, there's the potential for it to feel like you're cherry picking for the evidence that supports your theory, rather than examining each piece of evidence independently and reviewing them as a meta-analysis.
That is a very good point, teacher. Thank you. What brings you to Waterdeep?
I've taken to traveling around a bit, and there's a giant castle floating outside that I have some information about.
Oh,
Wanted to get the opinion of others with a more academic inclination.
really? And he walks over to a window and looks out. Oh, when did that get there?
Less than half an hour ago,
Oh
though
my God.
entirely non-violent, of course.
Oh, well, this discussion has been going on for at least 3 hours, so that would explain why I hadn't noticed. Certainly, is there a particular question or concern that you wish to address with this castle?
No, it's always challenging to independently go over every theory. I just felt like someone who's in the town. Miracle's basically going to. I'm basically done with his bullshit, but basically, I want a scholar gossip about this, and no one in my party is nerdy enough.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
I need nerd talk, damn it.
he will nerd talk all day about it.
Um,
Is there anything in particular you're trying to get out of him or trying to get from him?
well, I'm trying to get to him, like, the basic information that I'd love to communicate it to the city, not necessarily the city authorities because it's Waterdeep, but like the relevant academic community here that might be interested in this, both because current events and because general relations with giants.
Mhm.
It's halfway networking, halfway just so you know.
Okay.
I know stuff about this and I'm in town right now, so if people are looking to cross-reference,
Okay. So you're less trying to get information, more trying to disperse information.
yes, trying to disperse information with the side benefit of I get to catch up with a student, I get to nerd talk a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't have people putting down my evidence basically with, well, that's how it's always been quite as often.
Yeah. And yeah. So that's quite fascinating. I hadn't. There's not much study into giant cultures, so this would actually be quite fascinating for many of the scholars in the city. We could theoretically have a specific discussion circle relating specifically to the ordning itself. Perhaps pull in some dwarven scholars. They tend to lean more towards the giant studies in general. In fact, there's an open discussion session later this evening if you'd like to join us there. So, Miracle is
I
seeding
think enough
information.
about noble families to thoroughly expect Fyron to take about 3 weeks to get anything done.
All right, so you're doing that. Farbolt with a 13.
It's looking for anywhere gathering of
So
any kind of guilds or something.
you're looking around, going to all the usual spots where there might be illicit activity, and what you're finding is that a lot of it is boarded up currently. Like a lot of like what would be underground markets and things like that are closed off for the moment, likely in response to the threat of giant attack.
Any
Because when shit starts to go down on this level, on adventurer scale level, the city's underground tends to just go down for a while and wait till it to pass over. Because the guards are on. Because with the giants in the city, the guards are on alert. So a lot of illegal activity that would previously go unnoticed might get noticed, and it gets harder to do everything.
And he kind of looking for, probably if that's the case, looking for kind of a tavern that would be frequented by, thieves, spies, anything.
Yeah, you can certainly find those kinds of taverns, but they are much emptier than you would expect them to be. It seems like most of the city's underground has gone underground.
They're in Skullport.
Yeah.
Which you're not native of Waterdeep, so you don't know how to get to Skullport, at least not with a 13.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's mostly then it's mostly is like get a drink and just kind of talk to whoever's there. Is like, yeah, what is this fucking giants doing, showing up everywhere? Drop hints that I've encountered giants, and in Thieves' Cant, if anyone responds or whatever, looking for someone to see if anyone's made contact with the giant.
Give me a persuasion roll.
17.
So you're talking with the barkeep, and he's sort of responding kind of, yeah, fuck them. I mean, all of our clientele, as soon as a big fuck off castle comes up in the sky, they all fuck off. It's bad for business, what we're saying. Adventurers need to go out there, kill some giants, do whatever with it. And in sort of in the same breath, sort of like just marking on the table, you sort of get back in Thieves' Cant. Basically, what I said, like all of the establishments that would be running in this tavern and things like that have gone to ground. You do pick up the name Skullport. Not that it means anything to you, but basically it seems like everything's all business has retreated back to Skullport for the time being, due to the giant's presence causing an increase in Silverhand's guards and heralds. And right now the city is tense, and when the city is tense, people are paying too much attention for criminal activity. So everything's basically moved back to Skullport, wherever that is. You're not sure. It doesn't seem like anybody's had any contact with the giants. They're just sort of laying low.
Yeah. So basically, I'd be going from tavern to tavern doing that.
Yep. All right. So that's what you're doing. You're sort of gathering that information in various aspects. Back to Fyron and Kivalar. So Fyron, you enter the kitchen. You see, you enter the kitchen too immediately. No, that's not right. You don't prepare this particular dish that fashion. That is the wrong ingredient. You're cooking it for too long. You do not want to burn, and it's sort of going off on the kitchen staff, who apparently aren't preparing the meals correctly.
Oh, mother, leave the poor kitchen staff alone. They're doing their best.
And your mother is where your father is tall and lean. Your mother is fairly plump, a woman who is used to luxury and used to sort of nobility. Equally red hair, no silvering and no graying in this one though. She's about 10 years younger than your dad though. So, dressed in this sort of very the fashion capital T capital F of the day. Looks up sort of just offhandedly over her shoulder. Oh, Fyron, you're never home. Don't tell me how to talk to my staff. And go wait out in the hall. And she's continuing to lay into the kitchen staff at the moment.
Now this sounds familiar to me.
I give it the time that she needs to berate her staff.
Yep. After a few more minutes, they get back to work, and she turns around and Anna walks over to you. Oh, Fyron, it's so good to have you home. Why don't you come home more often? And she reaches over and just grabs you by the face and just turns your head in every direction to examine you to see what you're doing. You're not eating enough. You're so skinny.
I recognize where all of this is coming from.
Puts her steps back. Puts her. How are you, my dear?
I'm doing well. I mean, the reason I don't come home as often is duty calls and also father.
Yes, I know your father can be such an unbearable grump of a man, but you should still come home and visit your mother and your sister more often.
Absolutely. Maybe next time I'll bring Nashka with me.
And who is this? Indicating Kinvar, as if you should have introduced
yeah.
him 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. This is Kinvalar Asame. He's one of my traveling companions.
A pleasure.
A pleasure. It's good to see that my son is getting some culture in his life. What brings you back home?
Well, you may have noticed the giant castle floating in the sky.
Really? I hadn't noticed.
Well, part of my current mission is dealing with that, so I came to seek Father's resources in an audience with the Black Staff and the Silver Hand, who might be able to get a little bit more context as to what's going on, and we might be able to fill them in a little bit more as well.
Oh, your father's going to be quite upset with that.
He already was.
The family, you know the neighbors, and she goes on and on about how basically one of the neighboring families recently got their child into the Blackstaff Tower, and Aaron, while having some magical capability, has no interest in studying.
Aaron's a sorcerer.
Yeah, Aaron's a sorceress, and so that's been sort of a mark on the family in that the neighbors have a child going to the Blackstaff Tower to learn, and our child is not.
Yes, but also one of your children is a paladin in service of Ilmater. Come on.
Yes. But a paladin of Ilmater is all nice and well for the doing good in the world, etc. aspects of business, but it's not quite as prestigious as having someone in the Blackstaff Tower would be now, is it?
I feel the opposite, actually, but you know.
Well, you might feel the opposite, but Waterdeep knows otherwise. And it's true, in Waterdeep, they'd much rather have someone in Blackstaff than an Ilmater.
See, this is why I spend more of my time in Neverwinter. They actually appreciate the paladin orders there. To be fair, they're also under attack by Dracoliches and monsters more often.
Yes, Neverwinter doesn't know how to deal with their problems. That's why they like the paladins. Waterdeep, on the other hand, is quite secure and safe.
There's also a giant castle floating above the city right now.
It hasn't crushed anything. So you have conversation with your mother and it goes pretty much like that.
It's like talking to our mother.
Yes, it's like talking to our mother.
And our father.
For a while. You did this.
I did.
After a while, Gillian comes back. Not to interrupt, but your father wishes to speak with you, Lord Firen.
Thank you, Gilliam. Sorry, I have to cut this short, Mother.
Of course. Business as always. Come back and see me before you leave.
I will.
And she
give a nod,
turns and wanders off. You head back to the library. A couple of somebody whom you recognize as your neighbor is leaving the library as you're walking up to it.
I know what that context was now.
And as you walk in, well, Firen, you wanted your interview with the Blackstaff Tower, and you have it.
I assume that was our neighbor who has a mage in the tower.
I see you've talked to your mother.
Yeah, she's quite gossipy about it. Our sister doesn't want to go.
No, your sister feels that the use of her talents is best in more spontaneous contexts.
Tell you what, in appreciation for this, I'll see if I can't talk to my sister and see if she can go just for appearance's sake.
I doubt you'll have much more success than the rest of us have, considering that she seems to have inherited your stubbornness streak.
That's why I'll have more success.
Whatever. Go there. Introduce yourself as my son. The groundwork has already been laid.
As frosty as it is every time I talk to you, Father, I do appreciate your help.
Right.
By the way, this is Kinvalar Rasame, my traveling companion. I forgot to
Hello.
introduce him last time.
He looks over at
It's a
you.
pleasure.
Kenvalar, you have met with Frosty parents before.
I mean, the thing is,
Like you lock eyes with this guy, and you sort of blink and look at Fyron like, is he a sorcerer? Because no, just like he's not powerful at all, but it's just he has the confidence and iron will of a dragon, just staring you in the eyes. And it's just like
so the funny thing is, Kinvalar is looking at this family dynamic is like, yep, Fire and I have a lot in common.
Yeah. Yeah, Fyron, your father made his fortune by being able to completely bullshit people on prices without batting an eye.
And just confidently stare at them and say, yes, it cost 100 gold pieces.
Yeah, like that's how his entire business is on strength of will, and that's where you and your sister got it from.
That's why we both have advantage. That's why we both have wisdom and charisma saves.
Yep.
I wonder why they don't like the character that can cast Circle of Truth very much in this family.
So you have established your connection. Miracle. So you have a few hours before the social scholarly get together is happening. Your student wanders off to go spread word. Is there anything else you're doing while you're waiting?
I mean, there's not really tons of stuff I need, and I suspect the city is in prices are hiked for panic mode.
Yep. That's a good assumption to make.
So, yeah. Not going to do the thing I was thinking, but I'll head back essentially to this. I'll see if I can link up with Fyron and Kemvalar. Like I'll head to the part of the city that Fyron indicated.
Mm-hmm. Sure, give me an investigation check.
Okay.
Fyron and Kemvalar, are you guys trying to link up with anybody else, or are you just heading straight to the Blackstaff Tower?
Probably at least want to pick up Miracle before heading to the Blackstaff Tower.
Cool.
So give me an investigation check for you as well. Farble, are you trying to hook back up with everybody after you've learned that the underworld has closed for business?
I'm going to try to do one other thing before looking at.
What's up?
After coming up with pretty much a dead end on the underworld, I'm looking for gatherings of guards. I'm not planning on going up to them, but I would like to see soldiers talk.
Sure.
And I wanted to see if different groups are either they're just on alert because the castle's there, or if they've been given any specific orders, that type of thing.
Sure. Give me an investigation check. The rest of you, you managed to link up sort of halfway between Fyron's family estate and the Blackstaff Tower, sort of like heading down Waterdeep Way. Not far. Well, yeah, there are certainly gatherings of guards, but mostly all they're doing is keeping people from rioting. That seems to be what their primary focus is right now. They're just like, everybody stay calm, everything's fine. The Lady Silverhand is dealing with the issue. They're in communication with the giants. Nobody is attacking. everything is fine. So that's what you're getting from most of what's happening.
Okay. And yeah, eventually I would try to look for the others.
Right? Yeah. So with the combination of scrolls, yeah. So the group of you meet back up, effectively just outside the entrance to the castle ward on Waterdeep Way, which it cuts right past to Tower Blackstaff.
Random question.
Mm-hmm.
Has the turn order always been open all session, or should I
Yes.
take that as a sign of things to come?
It's been open all session.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
I mostly just have it open to mess with you.
We're going to fight our way into the tower.
I see some runes. Let me Tiberius this.
We die.
So
in that quick of a time.
Yeah, no, it's just like we attacked the Blackstaff Tower. Oh look, we're now ashes on the ground.
I feel like it doesn't even go that far. I feel like it's okay. Roll new characters.
Yeah,
I
once
want
we
you
meet
to
up.
roll me 46 keeps 3 6 times.
But based on your previous actions, intelligence has to be your dump stat. So once everybody's met up, so how did everything go?
Well, the underground has gone underground.
Ah, well, they're probably
Yeah.
at Skullport then.
That would
kind
make
of what I
sense.
heard, wherever that is.
Skullport's not easy to reach, but it's literally under the ground.
So the underground has quite literally gone underground. And
Is where
check
the
this-
worst of the worst live.
Look for some of the guards. The guards are mostly handling the populace, so no one's been given. Doesn't seem like anyone's been given orders to do anything about the giants.
Well, great.
Actually, a few local scholars would probably be interested. I'm meeting later with them. Essentially, see what they know, get out the information that we've been communicating elsewhere. This is what's happening. This is the ordering, the factions, all of that.
All right. Well, we were successful in getting a meeting at Blackstaff Tower. So that's another avenue.
So,
Good option.
do the group of you continue on to Blackstaff Tower?
Yep.
Yep.
So you head towards Blackstaff Tower, which is on the way to Castle Waterdeep. For some reason, it's not marked on that map, but it's on the way to Castle Waterdeep. I don't know. It's like it's the most It's actually the most prominent figure in.
Didn't you say it didn't exist for a while or got burned?
Blackstaff, the
Kelvin
person, didn't.
died.
Oh,
Blackstaff
okay.
Tower has
Sorry.
always been there, though. It's actually it is the most recognizable landmark of Castle Ward in Waterdeep, even more recognizable than Castle Waterdeep, because it stands taller than Castle Waterdeep. It is this massive black iron tower that just sort of punctures the skyline.
I mean, to be fair, that map is very
That map still has Lord
weirdly
Kreider on.
selective about which landmarks that it has.
It's true, yeah.
I mean, I can't figure out where the map is from, so I suspect it's someone's personal.
Oh,
creation.
somebody very clearly put this together on themselves or by themselves.
So the
Not a
landmarks
bad
there
thing.
are probably the ones that were relevant to that person's campaign.
Yep.
It has Mert the Moneylender on it.
It does. It's specifically there on Sword Street. is where the Black Staff is. So you guys pass Castle Waterdeep along Waterdeep Way, curving around to the edge where Sword Street is and the Black Staff Tower is. Again,
I
it's
find
this...
it hilarious that the Blackstaff Tower is on Sword Street.
So yeah, the tower appears to be made out of smooth black stone with no windows or doors. And from the outside, it seems to be a 3-story stone tower. So, and you approach, and it has a single door made of this black iron that is closed.
I knock.
It opens.
I enter.
I follow behind.
All right.
Trail behind.
So inside this tower, you find yourselves standing in just sort of a foyer, and looking up, you see sort of a spiraling several levels of tower above you, that seems to go on for much further than the tower outside does. And sort of roaming around, there are about 3 or 4 other people just sort of moving around on the first floor, one of whom is coming towards you. Is a fairly young-looking human, blonde hair, blue robes, comes up, hands clasped. Welcome to the Blackstaff Tower. We were told to expect a fire?
Yes, that'd be myself, Fire Altorian.
Yes, and you were wishing an audience with Lord Blackstaff or Lady Silverhand?
Either or. Lady Silverhand seems to be the one more pertinent to the current situation.
Yes.
Lord Blackstaff is currently occupied elsewhere on the continent, but if you'll follow me. And he turns and begins walking up a staircase.
All right, I follow.
Follow along.
Okay.
As you go up the staircase, you sort of just casually looking around. You see that there are rooms connected to the stairwell. So the stairwell seems to have a bunch of free-floating doors on it and archways that are not attached to the wall. They're just sort of hovering as you pass them. While you're approaching them, you can clearly see the wall behind them.
A representation of the wizard's stranglehold over academia. Great.
You can very clearly see the wall behind them, but as you pass in front of them, you see they open up into various other rooms and libraries and locations. Give me a history roll, Miracle and Kinvalar.
Is this a favorite enemy thing?
No.
21.
9.
Miracle, you reckon in one of these portals as you pass, you recognize is a portal to Candlekeep, which you just recognize sort of from the interior. It's an interior you've seen before. Candlekeep is a fortress library that stands along on the Sword Coast, further north, I think. No, it's south. It's near Baldur's Gate. Along the Sword Coast.
Of awesomeness, were a
So
very
what you're telling me
boring.
is technology that would be better used in the implementation of relief supplies to places devastated by dragon attack?
Theoretically.
It is an awesome place where a monk's boring as shit story is told.
Yep.
Fuck you, Catterley.
It's also a place. It's also a place where lots of knowledge is held and stored and maintained, which is the reason why Miracle knows of Candlekeep. Any scholar would know of Candlekeep.
I have a feeling I just walked by a portal to Evermeet without knowing.
Potentially.
Yeah. It's probably better.
Just from elves. I don't know. And you eventually get to the top of this tower. It definitely feels like it looks like you've walked up about 15 stories. It only feels like you've walked up 2. sort of as you pass pillars that block your line of sight, you realize you've gone a lot further than you feel like you have. Eventually coming out to a chamber on the top wherein you find a female human wearing long flowing purple robes with grayish silver hair hanging down past her waist, standing in front of a large scrying orb, upon which there is the face of a cloud giant. She turns and looks, holds up a hand, and the apprentice that's leading you sort of stops, turns back. Well, thank you very much for the information. I would be quite willing to speak with you in regards to this, but potentially if you could park your castle elsewhere, it is causing our citizens some level of panic. And there's rumbling back in common. Oh yes, of course. I hadn't thought of that. Yes, we will see if we can't find a better place for this. And the scrying orb vanishes as she turns. Welcome to Blackstaff Tower. I am Lady Silverhand. How might I assist you?
Well, I am Farron Altorian, scion of House Altorian, and these are my companions, Kinvalar Arasame, Miracle, and Firebolt Chance.
Welcome. And you sought an audience with me for?
Yeah, actually, it was in matters relating to the current situation of giants. We were hoping to get what information we could about the giant who hovers over the city currently, and also fill you in on the information that we've gathered in our journeys. We currently have been on mission relating to the current problem of the ordning and the matters of giants throughout the countryside.
Well, as to the castle hovering over the city, that is Count Nimbolo of the Cloud Giant. He, his wife, Countess Mulara, and their children are searching for long-lost relics of the giant country of Astoria. They seem to feel that Waterdeep is built on an old giant settlement that was destroyed by dragons tens of thousands of years ago, and they're a family of cartographers. They're interested in Waterdeep on an academic level, not here for... They don't mean no harm. I have theoretically, hopefully, just convinced them to move their castle, so it doesn't seem like they're here to attack.
Built on a giant city and an undercity.
Well, we're not certain that there is an old giant settlement here, at least not where Waterdeep currently stands, but it's an academic question, which we're more than willing to entertain. So.
But, well, at least that answers that question. We have some information for you as well, and sort of relay the information update that we've got from recent interactions with the Oracle and all of what we've accomplished, and where we're going next to Grudhaug to hopefully solve the ordning. Exposition dump.
Yes, well...
In the opposite angle.
I appreciate this information. Perhaps there is something I could give you to assist with this. And she just sort of holds up a hand, just one moment, and steps off behind a curtain, and you hear her opening up a chest of some kind. The group of you have the room to yourselves for a moment.
Okay. For the record, that's why Laryl is among the lords of Waterdeep and not Kelvin, because Kelvin would be like, "Get your fucking castle away from the city before I throw enough fireballs up your ass."
Kelvin is not the most subtle person
or diplomatic.
His name is Blackstaff. He made a tower that looks like his staff.
There's a reason that the Blackstaff in the Lords of Waterdeep board game, his directive is just do the most things.
Right. He is very accomplished. He is not polite or subtle or diplomatic.
He's just really the only thing that separates him from Elminster is power level and level of insanity.
He's a little
I
more
feel like
sane. A little bit.
Kelvin's actually fairly sane.
Yeah. He
Yeah, that's the
Elminster
difference.
was sane until Mister died. Then he went batshit crazy, and now he's just coming back from it. Anyways, as we wait, Kinvar is just sort of taking casual looks around, not like snooping or anything.
Farber's looking around. He is absolutely looking at everything.
Sure. Give me perception checks.
Kevlar's tried very hard to say, please don't steal anything. We will die.
Not stealing anything, but like Kinvalar is
Yeah.
going, look with your eyes, not with your hands. Farbolt's like, what's this?
Sure. Give me like I said, give me a roll.
24.
24? Yeah, there's because you're thinking, how much could I sell all this for? And just looking at the various pieces that you recognize, not counting the ones you don't recognize, you imagine you could probably buy and sell a couple of towns with the stuff you see in here. Mostly magical items of various power and strength. And
Farbolt's not stupid enough to try to steal from this place, but he's absolutely looking.
I'm not going to steal anything, but I'm appreciating the view.
He will drool over everything. He just won't take anything.
All right. After a few moments, she returns holding a couple of items that I have to determine. She's holding a long red cloak that has sort of golden trim, a staff, and a pair of bracers. So yeah, a long red cloak, a staff that seems to be made of gold with ornate sort of ruby inlay, and a pair of golden bracers that seem fairly ornamental. Here, these may find some use amongst your party in your ventures to Grood Hog. I would be cautious. The hill giants are not known for pacifistic tendencies. And she sort of lays these out on a table and steps back.
I look at them. Kenvalar.
Yes. This is most gracious. Thank you. And I will arcana the living fuck out of these things.
Sure.
Was that four? Four of them, so 4 rolls.
Three items.
3, okay. 20, natural
20,
20 and
27.
27.
Nice.
All right. So the items are a staff of healing,
Okay.
which is a staff
Good.
that has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one or more of its charges to cast one of the following spells from it, using your spell save DC and spellcasting ability modifier. So if Kenvalar uses it, it's intelligence. If Fyron uses it requires attunement by a... Actually, sorry, no, not that, because none of you can use that.
Requires me back cleric, doesn't it?
Yep, it does. I was like, wait, no, it says
I thought it's cleric or druid.
Bard, cleric,
Not that I'm a druid.
Bard, cleric, or druid, and I thought it said wizard too.
Nope.
But that's not the case. Scratch that. It's a staff of fire. Next one over. It's a staff of fire, which which requires attunement by a druid, sorcerer, warlock, or wizard. Staff has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one or more of its charges to cast one of the following spells from it: Burning Hands, Fireball, or Wall of Fire. The staff regains 1d6 plus 4 expended charges daily. If you expend the last charge, roll d20 on a 1, it blackens, crumbles, and disappears, and is destroyed. The cloak is a cloak of the mountebank,
Ooh.
which is a cloak that lets you teleport.
It lets you cast Dimension Door.
Lets you cast Dimension Door. And the bracers are bracers of defense. which gives you
Nice.
an AC, which when worn while not wearing any other armor, gives you an AC of 13 plus Dex, I think. Let me really quick whip the pages over. Sorry. While wearing these bracers, you gain +2 bonus to AC if you are wearing no armor and using no shield. That's it. They do require attunement, though. The Cape of the Mountain Mech does not require attunement, but the staff and bracers do.
Okay.
Yeah, Cape of the Mountain Mech. While wearing it, you can cast Dimension Door as the Dimension Door spell as an action. Just flat.
And you
Sorry,
can't use it
the
again
property
till
of this cape
next
can't
dawn.
be used again until the next dawn. When you disappear, you leave behind a cloud of smoke, and you appear in a similar cloud of smoke at your destination. The smoke lightly obscures the space you left, and the space you appear in, and it dissipates at the end of your next turn. A lighter, stronger wind disperses the smoke. Yeah. So,
You already do that,
I
I say,
feel
looking at
these
Firebolt.
might be useful.
Yeah, I can.
Then perhaps I
Thank
hold
you.
on to that one.
Yeah, I will lay claim to this stuff. Because, magic Cassie person.
You also
good
don't
look.
wear armor. You might want the bracers as well.
I do wear armor.
Oh, you do wear armor? Okay.
Yeah. I wear studded leather, I believe. Yeah, studded leather.
Yeah, I've got +1 studded leather, so if someone else wants the bracers, that's fine.
Yeah, my
I don't know.
So,
my
if
armor class of 20 doesn't all come from my dexterity and my dancing around with my swords.
though if you used mage armor instead, you could use the bracers.
Yeah.
And mage armor is not a concentration spell. I don't know.
But then I would have to get mage armor. And also, meh.
I rolled for this stuff, so it's like.
Yeah. They work.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Most
take them
thank you,
gratefully.
thank her
You're welcome.
a lot
We
because
deeply-
good God,
You just can't handle your magic items,
Yeah.
yeah. We deeply appreciate this. They should absolutely help us on our trip to Gridhog.
yes,
Yes.
most generous. Thank you.
And may you be swift about your quest. If the ordning has been shattered, I fear the coming chaos will engulf the entirety of the North.
Hopefully we'll be able to get King Hecaton back to his throne, or at least find a suitable replacement that won't burn the entire lands
Right.
soon.
Well, I wish you all the speed in the world.
Good fortune to you as well.
She nods and then turns back to her scrying orb.
Leave it.
The group of you are escorted out.
All right.
I should find my sister before we head out, but after that...
Yes, you do need to do that. You did. You did say you would.
Granted, I haven't spent an absurd amount of time in Waterdeep. How do you find one person in this city?
You find their friends.
Okay, fair enough. I have an
I-
academic thing to go to this afternoon anyway.
I feel like I know my sister's friends well enough to know where she hangs out.
Potentially. Give me an investigation check.
This is where I roll another natural one. Yep, called it!
My God.
So-
Should I also be looking, or no?
Sure, if you want. So yeah, you do know your sister's friend, or you did know your sister's friends, and you go find your sister's friends, and you realize that your sister's friends have changed drastically since the last time you were in Waterdeep.
Oh no.
You sort of meet up with like one of their old friends, one of her old friends who hasn't seen her in years. they stopped being friends because, they go off on this sort of gossipy, basically, so-and-so stole so-and-so's boyfriend/girlfriend/whatever, and thus the entire thing fractured and splintered apart.
And someone probably got lit on fire because my sister's a sorceress.
Probably, yeah. So the
chaos surges are accidental property damage, not on purpose.
Oh, she's not a chaos sorcerer. She's a dragon. She's a dragon blood sorcerer.
That's when you tell someone, "Oh, sorry, that was my chaos sorcerer fireball."
Yeah, you see, there's a reason we got started as a noble house. There is dragon blood going back.
Yep. That's why your father has that gaze, and that's why your sister lights things on fire. Because y'all have some gold dragon in the family. But yeah, the social climate has shifted so much that you have no idea where to look. Miracle, are you helping to look for Aaron?
Yeah, once I get a description of who this person is,
yeah.
I'm seeing if I can find them.
Yeah, you go for the more practical approach of where have things been lit on fire recently. And
I had a student like this once. He didn't turn in his homework, so I had to go track him down.
You end up heading towards the docks, actually, where there have been reported some issues with the guards. And you eventually find yourself on Dock Street, just north of some of just south of the warehouse and just north of the docks, where there is sort of a circle of people gathering to watch a pair of guards who seem to be slapping each other. Just off to the side, there is a long red hair, indicative of the Altorian family. Female, very beautiful looking young human woman, standing off to the side, holding her hand up next to her face and just laughing, as these two guards, who seem very confused as to why they're doing this, are slapping the shit out of each other.
I just kind of sidle up next to her. You know, I think I've seen this trick before.
Oh, brother. When did you return to Waterdeep?
Today, actually.
That's enough, you two. Go jump in the water. And they stop slapping each other, turn, and just walk off the edge of the dock.
Oh, I say.
It is time to do the fish dance.
And as they hit the water, you start hearing splashing as they start climbing themselves back out. Whatever spell it was having been broken at this point. Now that'll teach you to harass the people in the streets when they're in a panic, now won't it? She calls at them.
I like her.
And now there's a paladin
agree.
standing, and now there's a paladin standing next to her too.
She just sort of turns and looks and folds her arms. Well, brother, it's good to see you. What are you doing in town?
Coming by to see the family and get an audience with the Black Staff. Well, the Black Staff isn't here, but also the Silver Hand, because giants situation.
Ah, yes, I did notice that, she says, looking up. And as you all sort of follow her gaze, you see the giant castle has moved and is sort of flying over the city out towards the water.
Oh, good. They did move their castle.
Well, that's lovely. Anyways, I was just out here doing a bit of shopping and found some guards who were being a little bit too handsy with a few people who were scared, so have to remind them that sometimes they're not in charge, she says, looking over at the guards who were trying to figure out what they do, because technically nobody attacked them.
Well, as hilarious as that has been to watch, Mother is quite the gossip monger, and I've heard word that that our neighbors are being quite haughty about having someone in the Blackstaff Tower.
Oh yes, little Kendrick managed to get into the Blackstaff Tower, even though he has barely any magical aptitude at all.
You've got more in your, right index than he's got in his whole body.
That to do. And I don't need some elderly person with a big tall black staff telling me how to use it.
Oh, I do like her.
No.
Yes.
You certainly don't. But I think you'd do Mother a great favor if you at least went just to show off.
I don't much care. But I'll talk to Mother about it.
I know you at least care about Mother. Father's an ice cold bastard, but Mother was at least nice to both of us.
Yes, like I said, I'll talk to Mother about it. We'll see.
You don't even have to pay attention to the lessons. In fact, I think it'd be funnier if you just lit the study material on fire.
No,
But-
I'm not quite that stupid. I might not respect the black stuff, but I do know he can level a city.
It's fair.
Well,
If you're interested in a more systematic approach to dismantling the academic authority perpetuated by wizards and making your family proud while pissing them off at the same time, there's a scholarly gathering this afternoon where I could introduce you to some people.
she looks over at Miracle.
That's Miracle.
We'll talk.
Oh,
This is
I'll let her
Kinvalar.
know when and where that is.
This is Kinvalar. That's Farbolt.
Pleasure.
Nice to meet you all. Where are you
All
heading
of
after?
you, this is my little sister Erin.
Where are you heading after this, brother?
We're going to Groodhog to talk to some hill giants.
That sounds fun.
Or probably kill some hill giants, I say, indicating the giant slayer greatsword.
That also sounds fun. Well, have fun. I'll be here, dealing with Mother. And she looks over at the guards. The crowd has begun to disperse, and the guards have just sort of wandered off at this point. And keeping my city streets safe.
Well, if I'm out protecting the countryside, someone's got to be around here protecting the city.
Oh, I know, and you don't do nearly a good enough job of it.
I'm working on the giants, all right?
She
One
smiles.
problem at a time.
Right, well, sounds like I might be going to talk to some people about some books, she says, looking over at Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Wow.
I'll see you later, brother.
You too. It's been good to see you.
Good to see you too. And looks over at the rest of you. Don't let him die, or I'll have to hunt you down and eat you.
She's not kidding. She has those teeth.
Just, of course, and just give a exaggerated bow.
She smiles.
With fangs.
She does have fangs. That dragon blood, yo. And then she just sort of turns and walks off.
I think
Well,
your
not-
sister's gonna like my students.
well, now you've met the length and breadth of my immediate family. Plus my uncle.
And your Uncle Bertolt.
At some point, you'll meet my fiance, if we're all alive after this.
Right.
Should take you out and introduce you to my family one of these days. Completely different experience.
I imagine.
I will spare you meeting my family. Also, none of you would be allowed on the island anyways. I'm sorry. It's a terrible place.
I mean, you have met part of your
I
family.
mean, it's a wonderful place, but
Only for
I don't
elves.
know how to continue that sentence.
Only for elves.
So, I mean, I don't know. We would have to actually have a non-elf on the island for me to know what it would be like.
And I'm
Evermeet,
sure they
to
use
the
that as an excuse to not have any non-elves on the island too.
I mean, we're just elven separatists. I didn't actually. No, never
They're
mind.
more-
Yes,
they're more
he did say
isolationist
that.
than-
That's fine. My family is well. Let's say they take the horns like kind of stereotypically.
Stereotypically, in what way? In the complete rejection or the complete embracement?
Or yeah, do they look at it as a "this is terrible, we are cursed," or is it aspirational?
Aspirational.
Ah,
I see.
Don't worry, I haven't actually spoken to any of them since I was about. Oh God, what age did I enter? Like middle school? I was tiny. I don't know.
see.
Meet my
Well, you
family.
have-
Though, given the way of these things,
family.
it's quite possible they're all dead in some horrible ritual or something.
Fair enough.
My family will be fun, boisterous time. Just check your coin purse after you leave.
Also, fair enough. I believe you have a scholarly get-together to go to, Miracle.
Yeah. If you guys want to come, be nice, but we're sort of, you know, that thing we've been trying to do where we're like talking about what's happening with the ordning, letting people know that this is what's going on with the giants, to watch out for giant attacks.
Aye.
Scholars are a good way to get that information around because they talk with each other. They don't necessarily implement it in any sort of practical way, but the next major city that deals with something like this goes to their scholars looking for answers. Their scholars know better than they might have otherwise.
Fair enough. Well, if you want to get onto that, I appreciate that effort. I think I'll optimize our time and I'll start looking for a boat to get us up the Desserin.
Fair enough.
I'll go with Firen because going to a lecture doesn't exactly sound like fun for me.
I'll go ahead and
It's
go.
more of a fine lecture.
I get the
Lecture's
feeling
a
it's more.
specific kind of class. This is more of a
This is an open forum.
Yeah, I get the feeling this is more of like a circle of philosophical discussion more than a lecture.
Some might
I
call
can't-
it. Some might call it a circle of jerks. Who knows?
Yeah.
I can't call it a Socratic circle because I don't
Oh
think.
my God, John.
You just realized what he said.
You realize I did this immediately.
It didn't take long.
There was no delayed reaction there.
This is why I've taken to pretending John doesn't say things when he does that. Because he does it for this reaction.
It's too early in the morning for me to pretend not to
That's
groan.
All right, so myself and Farbolt head to River Street probably to try and find someone who can get us at the river.
Yeah, I mean, you're already on the docks, so you can. The Desserin doesn't actually cut into Waterdeep, so you actually have to go out and.
Yeah, that's why River Street probably has someone because River Street goes to the River Gate, which goes out to the Desserin.
Yeah. So you guys go looking. Give me investigation checks. Meanwhile, Kinvalar and Miracle, you guys go to an afternoon study circle. You get there, and Aaron is there as well. Aaron's sort of sitting. Aaron has done the popular girl sitting in on the study group thing, where she is sort of sitting in a chair, leaning back, and just sort of relaxing while all of these very obviously scholar people, basically a 20 charisma characters in a room full of 20 intelligence characters.
Yep. And Miracle, who's got an intelligence of 12 and a charisma of about the same.
Regardless of description, in my mind, this character is now played by Bella Thorne.
Yeah. I'll find some of the more socially active people here.
I mean, that's not an inaccurate description.
The kind of people that might interest her essentially with, they're high intelligence people, but they're also social justice advocates, that sort of thing.
High int, low whiz.
again, Miracle has a decent wisdom.
Yeah, Miracle's the inverse.
Um,
The scholars are high and low whiz.
Yeah.
yeah. Just trying to find some people that basically pointing her in the right direction to make her family not quite proud, but also like might interest her in the systematic disruption of academia.
And she seems to be having a grand time in this group. For various reasons. Not, I mean, yes, the level of attention she gets in this particular circle of people is nice, but also she seems to be enjoying some of the discussion as well. And yeah, so there is...
Miracle will advocate for the pragmatic standpoint of cross-cultural communication over the concerns about cultural appropriation or reinterpretation in this instance, because it is a very practical, immediate thing where these cultures are directly interacting.
Yep. So what are you... what, if anything, are you trying to get out of this discussion?
Basically what he told Kimbler.
Get the scholars to talk to each other and spread this information, basically.
Yeah, like, so every time we've gone to a city, major, minor, whatever, we have been like to the head person, whether or not they listened.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what's going on. Here's what we know about the giant ordering stuff.
Yeah.
He's doing that.
Yeah, and you get that done very easily. They seem...
And
he just wants the
maybe
scholars to go
also
talk
sort
to
of
the
a
scholars.
little bit trying to see how irreparably damaged his formal academic career is.
So you learn a couple of things, and Kimvalar, you are present for all of this, so feel free to react accordingly.
Because I know the
He's
pamphlet
trying
was
to
well
keep
received.
as quiet as possible, so as not to just start yelling.
So there is a lot of discussion about the giants, the giant ordning. There's a couple of dwarf scholars there that are going on and on about how the ordning is basically the only thing that keeps the giants from running amok and rampaging the streets and killing everything that they come across. And even then, with it in place, it still didn't stop like the stone giants and the fire giants and the frost giants. And the hill giants were mostly stopped by their own ineptitude, but etc.
But there is a matter of degrees.
Yeah. And so with it, having it reinstated to the level that it was is the thing that most of them are doing. And then there's also, most people are like, well, when I get back to my X town, then I'm going to talk to people about this and make sure the guards know and la la la. So you definitely achieve the goal of informing the populace. Like, at the very least, within this group and going out all up and down the Sword Coast.
They're much more likely to spread the information than, no offense, Kinvalar, but your random ass cousin who's like, I'm in charge of leading a city.
I mean, I suppose.
There is certainly a level of, when you bring up your own academic thing, your students were perfectly happy with you as a teacher. Other academics seem to find most of the flaw with the aggressive nature at which the use of magic in relation to academia is approached. Many of them find magic quite useful in a variety, not just in the study of things, but also in the self-defense relation. And it seems like your point isn't necessarily the thing that was the issue, so much as the aggressive nature of your point that was the issue.
When you publish something that is basically, fuck your methods, fuck your form of magic.
Yeah. So you imagine if you wanted to reintroduce yourself to academia, there would either be an extensive apology needed,
Oh, fuck no.
or a different continent.
I'll look into that.
Maybe going south past out of away from the Sword Coast might be the idea, or going to Thay. Several people have suggested you go to Thay.
No, absolutely
Kinvalar,
not.
and Kinvalar, you do hear several people suggest Miracle might find more success in Thay.
And he says, no, absolutely not.
Do you explain to Miracle why you say that?
That depends on whether Miracle asks. But
Miracle doesn't ask because he's used to people making various versions of go to hell at him.
I mean, which is basically what they're saying. Too, so.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm only mostly setting you literate.
Yep.
Go to Thay. They'll teach you.
You go to Thay. You'll be very well accepted there. But yeah, so that's what you get. So yes, the word of the ordning is indeed spread.
Right.
And you're pretty certain that at least on the Sword Coast, you probably shouldn't try to reestablish yourself. Amongst your students is fine, but everyone else is kind of like, who the hell is this? Why?
Yeah. It's fine, I'm a ranger.
Yeah. So yeah. It's overall a fairly enlightening period. It doesn't seem like anybody has any immediate solutions amongst this group, but they do have a lot of... They seem mostly in agreement that the ordning was a good thing.
Yep.
And that it should probably be reinstated.
Kinvalar tries not to look unsurprised that this group doesn't have any actual ideas on what to do about the topic.
Yeah.
Aaron...
that was the core thesis that Miracle said that got him kicked out.
Yeah. Aaron Altorian, on the other hand, does have several practical implications that she would like to implement. It's just that she's a little she's very aggressive too. But they're too scared to call her. They're too scared to call her on that.
Kinvalar likes firing perfectly well, but he really likes his sister a lot more.
She's very charismatic.
She's kind of awesome.
It's like, can we trade firing for firing? Can
we just have her come along with us?
No, but yeah. I've helped her make the context she might want if she decides to.
Yep.
Go for the academic circle.
Get herself banned from academia too.
She has a fair number of advantages over Miracle in that particular
over the
regard.
tiefling whose family was not really in the picture.
Family looks and ability to kill a man, all help you not get kicked out of academia.
Yeah.
Also, ability to make a man walk off a cliff into a dock.
Also that. She's a little bit infamous in Waterdeep for making guards take long walks off short piers.
I mean,
doing the good work.
That is probably not a disqualifier from going to magic school.
No, it's not.
The fact that she can do it so well is why the school wants her.
But yeah, so you have an interesting evening of academics. Fyron and Farbolt on your what'd you guys roll in your investigation? 5 and a 13. Yeah, you do find a boat, a couple of boats that are heading up the Desserin. They're not cheap, but you can probably get for 4 passengers about 20 gold.
I think we can spare that.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So you secure passage up the Desserin.
Sweet. Tomorrow, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
You're in the morning. Yeah.
Yep, in the morning. So So you eventually all meet back up. Do you stay at Firen's family's estate?
I mean, we do have free room and board for the evening, presumably.
Firen suggests that you all stay with his family.
I'm fine with that.
If that's what works.
Just, there's a library. If you like to go in and read, stick to the second floor. The first floor is my father's mercantile books. And unless you want to walk in and suddenly freeze to death.
He's very judgy.
Oh, I was assuming that the magic ran in the family.
No, the dragon runs in the family.
No, neither of your parents are magic users. Your grandfather was a sorcerer.
Yeah.
He exploded.
Too much power.
No magic. He's just a insert elven word for dick here.
He's a bit draconian. He inherited some of the other dragon qualities.
Got it.
I'm serious. Your father and my father would get along
I'll
great.
keep myself out of the way, don't worry.
Farmel's going to try to be very nice to the mother and try to get as many childhood stories about Firen that he can.
You get a ton.
As it turns out, Firen has been an adventurer since he's been able to walk.
Yep. They talk. Also, his younger sister has been making people do things since she was able to walk. She made fire. She actually a couple of Firen's scars are because she accidentally made him walk off things he shouldn't have walked off of. Which she tells with a laughing. Sort of attaching it to the women in the Altarian family have always ruled, sort of spin on it. And yeah, no.
So now I have a picture of like a Conan Edogawa sized Firen going, "Let me go adventure."
Yes.
And just being picked up,
Yes.
put back in the house.
But yeah, you guys get a long rest, staying the night at the Altarian household. You are
Okay.
treated to a feast, which Firen's father is not at.
He's in his room working.
Yeah. It's a very well made. It's a very very well made feast. Firen's mother was drilling the kitchen staff appropriately. And yeah, you have a fine evening feast. You sleep, you rest, you recover, and in the morning you awake.
I say goodbye to my family, and presumably the goodbye to my father is, I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
Right.
And then we go catch a boat.
You all head out to River Street. Yeah, you catch a boat that cuts over to the Desserin River and begins flowing northward along the river. This boat in particular is destined for Yarder. So we'll
have to stop roughly before the Summer Hills.
There is a stop. There is a stop at Golden Fields, Wamford, and Belliard. Well, just east of Wamford.
We can probably get
at
off
the barge right in specifically.
Yeah, we can probably stop at the barge right and follow the road past Wamford till we meet the Desserin again and head north to Gridhog.
Sounds good.
All right. So you get on the boat, and the boat sails north. And as the boat sails north, with the prospect of facing the Lord of the Hill Giants ahead of you and meeting Firen's family behind you, we're going to go ahead and call an end to the session there, as the ship pulls into Barge Right in, and you get off several days later. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Adios.
Goodbye.